From the shadows of the cyberpunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn. Satoshi with his vision, decentralization and proof of one, Bitcoin was born. You feel the shift beneath your feet. Get up here, we break the blockchain, we meet. Trust in code, not in the state. We are all Satoshi, this is what we've all been waiting for. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain, tick-tock, next block. Every 10 minutes, Bitcoin the path we made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi, we call Bitcoin. This system's alive and we won't let go. Hey, we won't let go. La-da-dee, la-da-da. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. And we won't let go. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain. Tick-tock, next block, every 10 minutes. Bitcoin, the path we've made. Whoa, the path we've made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi and we are Bitcoin. Bitcoin, this system's alive and we won't let go. And we won't let go. From the shadows of the cyberpunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn. He gave birth to a new dawn. Birth to a new dawn. From the shadows of the cyberpunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn. Satoshi with his vision, decentralization and proof of one, Bitcoin was born. You feel the shift beneath your feet. Get up here, we break the blockchain, we meet. Trust in code, not in the state. We are all Satoshi, this is what we've all been waiting for. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain, tick-tock, next block. Every 10 minutes, Bitcoin the path we made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi, we call Bitcoin. This system's alive and we won't let go. Hey, we won't let go. La-da-dee, la-da-da. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. And we won't let go. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain. Tick-tock, next block, every 10 minutes. Bitcoin, the path we've made. Whoa, the path we've made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi and we are Bitcoin. Bitcoin, this system's alive and we won't let go. And we won't let go. From the shadows of the cyberpunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn. Give birth to a new dawn. Voice to a new dawn.
From the shadows of the cyberpunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn. Satoshi with his vision, decentralization and proof of one, Bitcoin was born. You feel the shift beneath your feet. Get up here, we break the blockchain, we meet. Trust in code, not in the say. We are all Satoshi, this is what we've all been waiting for. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain, tick-tock, next block. Every 10 minutes, Bitcoin the path we made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi, we are Bitcoin. This system's alive and we won't let go. And we won't let go. La da dee, la da da. Hey ya, hey ya, ooh ah, ooh ah. And we won't let go.
Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain. Tick-tock, next block, every 10 minutes. Bitcoin, the path we've made. Whoa, the path we've made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi and we are Bitcoin. Bitcoin, this system's alive and we won't let go. And we won't let go.
From the shadows of the cyberpunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn.
Give birth to a new dawn. Voice to a new dawn.
From the shadows of the cyberpunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn. Satoshi with his vision, decentralization and proof of one, Bitcoin was born. You feel the shift beneath your feet. Get up here, we break the blockchain, we meet. Trust in code, not in the say. We are all Satoshi, this is what we've all been waiting for. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain, tick-tock, next block. Every 10 minutes, Bitcoin the path we made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi, we are Bitcoin. This system's alive and we won't let go. And we won't let go. La da dee, la da da. Hey ya, hey ya, ooh ah, ooh ah. And we won't let go. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain.
TikTok, next block every 10 minutes. Bitcoin, the path we've made. Whoa, the path we've made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi and we are Bitcoin. Bitcoin, this system's alive and we won't let go. And we won't let go.
From the shadows of the cyberpunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn.
He gave birth to a new dawn. Birth to a new dawn.
Hello everyone, here we are again as every week, even though I think last week we were on Monday connected with our friend Batitoshi. Here we are to discuss what is going on with Bitcoin, with treasury companies, with everything on the space. In Ancona, Italy, we have our friend Marco Battistoshi. How are you doing?
Yeah, guys, doing great. Thank you for having me on. And yeah, excited for another discussion together.
And here we are with Immortal now in Bangkok, the capital city of the Kingdom of Thailand.
Yeah, back in Bangkok, let's discuss today what we have strategy and all the hacks related to AI and all the Bitcoin related stuff.
Yeah, do you want to start with strategy or we can start with the other topics? I think we can start with strategy.
Yeah, let's go with the big boy.
Let's go with strategy for I think that 2 or 3 weeks in a row, again announced a sale of Bitcoin. This time was 1,690 plus ATM of MSTR. So they raised their capital, their cash reserve to 4.65 billion USD, plus they bought back around 110,000 US dollars in stretch. What do you think about this movement? Is he accumulating an excessive amount of cash, or you think that this movement is correct? Because we saw in the last week that the price of strategy went up a little bit, stretch were close to par. So I want to hear your opinion.
Yeah, I think it's pretty similar to what we said last week. So in my personal view, the USD reserve is is more than enough, to be honest, for even withstand a potential 2-year bear market or a consolidation range in Bitcoin. They have 4.5 billion today. For me, it's way more than the 12 months that was disclosed maybe 1 month ago. So again, in my view, is they listen to a different audience. The different audience is the big money in Wall Street, the institutional investors, in order to have better credit rating. Maybe I also read something yesterday, a commentary on strategy of, I don't remember if it was Dan Hillary or someone else, that potentially said that they want to have the same amount of the convertible debt outstanding in cash reserve, so that they can say to the institutional investor that even if the price of Bitcoin will stay compressed, they still can retire everything only with the USD reserve. So I think as of today, they have a total debt outstanding of 6.4 billion. And so the hypothesis was that strategy might arrive to this 6.4 billion in cash. So to say, okay, if the situation go bad, we can just offset the entire amount of money with the USD reserve. For me, it would be crazy, but yeah, let's see how it unfolds. And I'm interested also on what you have to say, guys, on this topic.
Yeah, I think it was Dan Hillary who commented on that. It makes total sense. My hypothesis was either Saylor is going for a fixed number, a round number like 5 billion, and stop there for a while, or it could be a percentage of the total market cap. Let's say something around 10% could be reasonable. So in that situation, it could be stretched up to 6 billion or 6 or 7 billion, depending on the Bitcoin price, which matches what Dan Hillary mentioned regarding taking the amount of cash up to the total amount of the debt. So in case, if necessary, you can remove all the debt in one shot instead of doing it little by little. Nobody knows at this point if that is actually necessary, and the reaction of the last action taken with removing part of the debt wasn't very. It didn't get a good reaction from the market, apparently. So I'm not sure if they would be willing to do it, to try that again, or maybe just wait until the bull market and keeping that amount of money in the reserves, plus bull market, Bitcoin going up, the total market cap of strategy going up. So the distraction moves to in some other direction, and now you can rip the ban off and pay all the debt in one shot.
Yeah, I think that, again, if I have to give my opinion as a Bitcoiner, it's a bad idea to keep 4.65 billion US dollars in cash, so to pay the dividends, when they already have a huge amount of reserve, because as we have to remember, the commitment is to keep at least 1 year of dividends paid on cash reserve. So now they have, with the removal of 110 million in stretch, they also extended the capital needed, the amount of months to cover the dividends. So now they have 2.7 years, enough to cover a bear market, a totally brutal bear market. We all know, we all think that bear market is gonna be over soon. Bitcoin is gonna go back to Bitcoin bottom at 60. I can say it. So well, we can, and for me, it's no reason to keep the cash. But as Marco said, he's listening to the big money that at the end of the day are the ones that will come, that he needs to convince to come to stretch, to come to strategy, that at the end of the day will make the value of Bitcoin go up and the value of the company goes up. Another thing is what Diego said, to keep an amount of money to say, okay, you are criticizing me because of the debt. I have all this money to pay the debt. I can pay tomorrow if you want. So I think it's, again, from a Bitcoiner perspective, it's not a good move. For a Bitcoiner perspective, I would have waited until Bitcoin price is back to 75, 80, 85, and stretch comes back to par and push the ATM and stretch to collect money. But at the end of the day, he needs to, Saylor strategy is a public company, and he has to fulfill the investors and Wall Street needs instead of the needs of Bitcoiners.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, that sometimes because I mean, strategy said multiple times, they need to balance it out, the interest of all different actors. So Bitcoiners on one side, shareholder of the company on one side, STRC holder, I mean the pref holder on the other side, and then the debt holder. Maybe for the first 5 years of maybe 4 years and a half of strategy, the main focus was on Bitcoiners, to try to add as much Bitcoin as possible. Now they reach a certain level of a balance sheet expansion and a lot of interest that goes beyond only Bitcoiners. And maybe as a CEO of this company and also the team of strategy, they need also to fulfill other obligations and other contractual duties that they have. And I think this time, maybe for the next maybe more extended period, maybe 1 year or 2 years, they won't listen firstly to Bitcoiners. They will first focus on other side of the business. So again, maybe a lot of people will withdraw from strategy. Other people will see the bigger picture and they are more, entrenched into their own shorting fiat and added Bitcoin, but over the long term. So yeah, I think it sucks today, but it's still true that they have 4.6 billion. Maybe if the bull market will arrive in 2027, they can simply swap 4.6 billion in 3 weeks to buy Bitcoin. So again, it's really fungible, and I'm not sure they will keep this cash forever. As long as they have 12 months, the excess, when the market will be better, they can deploy. So
imagine the critics if when bull market comes back, Saylor uses the 4.65 billion in cash reserve to buy Bitcoin at 150. But anyways, yes, I think that Saylor needs to think not as a Bitcoiner. He's the president of a public company that at the end of the day, he and his team and the board have to create more value for shareholders. I think that they are doing. Of course, now sucks. Of course, the price is not good, but it will recover fast when Bitcoin goes back to the price that it has to have. And on the other side, he was trying to please Bitcoiners in the past, and Bitcoiners criticized him. So now, fuck you, Bitcoiners. Now I will focus on the big money in Wall Street. Again,
that's a little bit of an exaggeration. It's not. Saylor is nothing like that. It's a very like all the parts have to be in consensus with this term. Obviously, it's not going to be against Bitcoin. He's not. It's not going to go also against Wall Street demands for institutional investment. Another good explanation that he gave was regarding the short sellers. So he said the hypothesis of the short sellers is this: this company have an asset that is equal to zero, in our opinion, right? In the short sellers' opinion. And on top of that, they say they are not going to sell it. So that's the perfect strategy for a short seller, or the perfect narrative for a short seller to enter in that trade. So one of the points of the last Bitcoin sales, Saylor said, is to prove these guys that they can actually sell the Bitcoin. They can actually make it liquid in one instant and fulfill the obligations. So now short sellers maybe are not so sure if selling short strategy is a good strategy or it's going to be suicidal.
Totally agree. And also on the other side, he's proving that the engines work, that he has multiple buttons to touch in case of turbulence. So that's another point. Of course, I'm not saying that he's saying "fuck you, Bitcoiners," because.
But if someone clicks that, it looks like so.
But if someone clips, I would be pleased because it will go viral and we will grow our subscriber base. But anyway, so again, he's proving what they design, that is working. If they have to sell Bitcoin, they will sell Bitcoin. Also proves the liquidity of the asset. I was listening today to, he was Chef Walton, he was talking about how liquid is Bitcoin, that you can sell, it's not a property, that you cannot sell a 10% of a property, and you can take a lot of time to sell a property. Bitcoin is super liquid. If they needed cash, they went, they sold Bitcoin, they increased their cash reserve, they bought back Stretch, and all the engines are working. Then when Stretch comes back to par, they will do the ATM, probably they will buy back more Bitcoin. All the engines are working. Strategy is the bet of the century, as Shane said, of the decade. No financial advice, but if you have money, this is the point to enter.
Even after almost 1 month in which they are not accruing more Bitcoin and selling some of it, they still have 840,000 BTC. That, ironically enough, is exactly 4% of the supply. So I'm pretty sure they won't go that lower. I think they really like round numbers, especially Saylor. He loves the 21. He loves the this, because it's very easy to marketing. It's very easy to have people in their brain those figures. And they stressed out many times that they have 4% of the Bitcoin ever existence. So I think this 4% will held pretty steadily. And if so, it might be also another example that the bear market might be soon over. And they have much more metrics than us. They have much more privileged information than us. So I'm pretty sure they net sell 7,000 BTC. Yes, it's on the end of the bear market, but they sold the high cost basis BTC, so it's not really a tragedy for this type of company. And if the bad is over, I think the recovery will come soon. Again, we should not forget that the US is 40 trillion in debt. They are reaching the 40 trillion, which is another pretty impressive milestone, considering I remember the 25 trillions back in COVID era. So this number will pile up, will increase at 2 trillion every year. So I think Bitcoin is the best edge you can possibly have. But sometimes in the short term, it might trade against your expectation. But long term is pretty obvious.
Of course. I don't know, guys, if you have anything else to add.
I think
regarding strategy, we cover all. Again, I think that when price goes up again, when Bitcoin price goes up, everything go back to normal, and all the bears will all the people who complain about Saylor is gonna change their mind. So next topic about BIP 110. Apparently, it was dead before
even launch.
Before even launch it. What do you think about that, Marco?
Yeah, I think it was pretty obvious. And I think we didn't cover much at all, actually. Just maybe one episode, we just said 5 minutes of, just because it was a bit noisy on Twitter. But yes, I guess it's good to have public debate about Bitcoin. It's good to have divergent opinions and to try to find some kind of innovation also within the protocol layer, especially for the spam debate and other topic. But I think the BIP 110 was wrong the premise at the beginning, that they wanted to censor some type of Bitcoin transaction. Because if we recollect in our memory, the first transaction ever, also Satoshi put inscription inside the block. So he is not using Bitcoin only as a monetary transaction. He also used encryption and to add additional data to it. And already Bitcoin, how it's designed, prevents most of the spam, because you need to pay a lot of Satoshis in order to have encryption. So if you do stupid encryption, you will pay a lot of money, and over the long term, you finish the Satoshi, and you don't have any more gas to propagate your spam. So again, it was pretty obvious, but I think it's also true that we shouldn't take for granted the Bitcoin Core project and the developers. So I think it's good to have a counterbalance and to have debate, but I think this type of debate was pretty obvious that was about to fail, and I think the network rejected pretty strongly, and I think it's good for Bitcoin. So we consolidate, we move on, but debate should always be open.
Yeah, it was another demonstration that the free market always win.
Always win, yeah.
It's another demonstration, say, happened with the previous fork years ago. This one also didn't succeed. And also, I think people is underestimating the power of a network that is growing as a power law. That brings so much energy on the history of the growth of the network that trying to bring up something fork from zero again it's obviously short debt.
Yeah.
Also, the thing that my idea still remains that it was mostly used by this group of developers that wants to keep the relevance on the Bitcoin community, and they find this excuse, which at the end it was something that we all agree that it shouldn't be used to keep things on the network. There shouldn't be spam on the network. We all agree on that, but let the free market figure it out. Eventually, it will die, because it's some kind of difficulty adjustment resistant to mechanism, where if you put more spam, it's gonna cost you more. So eventually, you're not gonna want to do it. It would be economically against you. So that's the way the free market fixed this issue. Instead of the months of discussions of something that looks important, but is it actually needed? I never thought the urgency to do this. Doesn't mean that in the future the Bitcoin network might have some other problems that actually need to be pay attention by the developers. But it wasn't this one, in my opinion.
Yes, again, we all agree that the blockchain doesn't have to have a spam or not like ordinals and runes and all this crap. But it's a good point. Even in the first block, Satoshi used it as putting some information inside. So again, if Satoshi uses to put not only money, who are we to talk against Satoshi? So and at the end of the day, free market always prevails, always win. And if you try to force something to happen, it will never happen. Probably in the future, I don't know, that it becomes another BIP with restrictions, whatever, if we need. But free market has spoken, and we have Bitcoin. Now everything all the discussion is gone. That's a good thing. We need to focus in other more important things.
Yeah, and imagine, guys, if all those developers and these other people focus on maybe finding vulnerabilities on other open source code within the Bitcoin ecosystem, instead of creating these 12 or 20 months of a bit of chaos, a bit of insulting, a bit of noise. Because again, we don't need internal attackers in Bitcoin, because we had for the first 17 years already a lot of external attackers. So maybe it's better to just regroup and focus, like, let's check all the repository, let's check all the open source code, let's check all the code behind hardware wallet, let's check all this other stuff, because maybe you can find vulnerabilities and you can save millions and millions of money. You can avoid theft. You can avoid any of these kind of problems. So yeah, maybe again, I'm pretty happy that the BIP 110 resolve in nothing, so that all these smart people, because a lot of those people are very smart, can now focus back into the real Bitcoin issue. Because again, it's not only quantum. If we fail into this vulnerability that we saw with Coldcard, who cares about quantum? We are already screwed way before quantum. So they should focus on that.
You're very optimistic, Marcus. I'm not seeing these guys do something productive anytime soon. So it's going to be another good excuse to how we keep relevance, to keep attending conference, to keep charging all the plebs money for teaching you how to operate something.
Yeah, but let's see. If they are smart, they will understand that if you do this kind of behavior multiple times, Bitcoiners are smart, and they won't listen to you anymore. So for me, if you want to keep a small sliver of credibility, you should just acknowledge the failure, come back to contribute to the open source, because again, it's open source, or contribute to some good causes, not try to just get your face in front of a new tribal group, which for sure will be counterproductive for them.
The point is that we talk about before that these people their ego is, first of all, they are dissociated from reality. They are just computer nerds who live in their computer world, same as the doctors during the COVID, when they say, okay, there is a flu, so everyone go to the house, lockdown. So this is the same. People with a lot of ego that wants to be more bigger than Satoshi. And that's why I agree with Diego. I don't think that they will proactively go back and think on ideas that to make people reach more, Bitcoin reach more people. The other day I was watching a guy, an Uruguayan guy in a podcast, talking about PIX, that is the solution for payments created by the Central Bank of Brazil. So and he was saying, everyone uses this because it's cheap, it's almost free, and because it's easy. So, and this is something designed by a central bank, is something that will come with a CBDC. Why don't these developers try to focus on creating easy ways for people to use Bitcoin? That's what we need.
I think because the whole thing is to make things look complicated.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you how to operate the thing.
An expert.
Right? But that's not the way of adoption. In fact, today in the Spanish podcast, we show an example of someone post on X a new website, which is beautiful the way they decided. It's a tool for nerds that shows you how to throw the dice, what is the entropy. It's beautifully designed. I'm pretty sure it's scientifically solid if you are into that. And it will create you the most secure wallet ever. But seriously, do you think that is the way to adoption Bitcoin? If you have to explain that to someone new.
Yeah.
So on the other hand, you have cases like that one in Brazil, CBDCs, right? When it's going to come something either from Europe or from some other communist region like Brazil, where they will want to impose a CBDC. And the slogan is convenience.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's what most people use as a word to defend a new innovation. It's so convenient. I just download an app.
Easy and convenient, yeah.
Yeah, because this Uruguayan guy said it's super convenient because I go to Brazil on holidays and I don't have to change US dollars, whatever. I just use these PIX and I pay everywhere. So even beggars use that. This is the same that is used in China. In China, they have WeChat Pay, Weixin Pay, and Alipay that is connected straight with the Central Bank of China, and they are a CBDC. But it's China. China is another planet, but on Western, they try to copy it. And as Diego said,
they're going to the same route of China. We defend ourselves behind this democracy kind of thing, which is pretty fake, but they follow the blueprint that China laid out. So yeah.
The problem is, and we are not talking about Bitcoin, but the problem is that in China, everyone knows how the system works, and nobody cares as long as the system works, and people don't give a crap about the CBDC or whatever because it works. In Western, in Europe, in Brazil, in other countries, they will pack it as democracy. So you're free, but we are going to control you, as it's happening now. So they will come with some tool that is convenient, that any grandmother can use it. Your grandmother, when it goes to the market to buy the food, they can usually pay like this. They don't have to count money, whatever. So for them, it's going to be convenient.
Game changer, yeah.
And at the end of the day, that I said, is that the egg of the serpent, because you bring it at your home, and then the snake goes out and eats you. So, but it's packed in something free and convenient. So Bitcoin, we need, instead of making things more difficult, like you need to download this and do that and put this and open a channel and do millions of things. We need to think in ways to make Bitcoin easy for people, and that is the way we win.
Yeah, I think the only big company that tries to do that is Block, because they have their own kind of. I mean, the hardware wallet from Block is way better designed, easy to use, easy to even set up than other hardware wallets on the hardware wallet side. I think Block is already trying to go into this route. They also convert all the merchant. So all the merchant using the Block system, I don't remember the name of the hardware, but you can simply accept Bitcoin and automatically it goes on the back end and doing everything. So I think we need more Block or company like Block, private, public, in America, in other jurisdictions, that tries to do this kind of innovation and allow people to use Bitcoin more friendly, better UX, better use cases, and try to help, as you said, the adoption in this way.
No, I think we need more companies like Red.Pay or these companies that try to use the fiat world and connect with Bitcoin. We are not going to make people pay with Bitcoin. People will continue pay with fiat, but
I think we need all of them, more of all of them. Everyone innovating in their own side, but we need more of them and oriented to easy to use and accessibility for the normal people that doesn't want to spend 10 hours to understand any technicalities.
Let's say we need a company that creates like a fintech that creates a wallet that where you can put your money and pays you 5% in interest, and they use all this money and they put on Stretch or SATA. So people are gonna be happy because I put the money here and they give me 5%. I go with my credit card and I get points back, and I pay, and in the back, the company is backed by SATA or Stretch. That in the back is Bitcoin. So that's what we need to get to reach the adoption. We don't need a new model of wallet of Satoshi or a Lightning wallet. We need companies that build the bridges, as Strategy is doing, between the everyday financial or the financial world in Wall Street with Bitcoin. I think that's what we need. We don't need a new wallet to pay in Bitcoin, because it's not going to happen. I don't know.
And because we already have a lot of offerings, so it doesn't make marginally more sense to have the 151 hardware wallet. We already have plenty. But yeah, I agree. The use case and the usability and the friendliness. Yeah, Bitcoin is not very friendly if you're not a bit technical or if you don't want to spend 100 hours to try to understand the why. So yeah, maybe they should work more on that side. The education is important, but also on the software side, and designers and all the technical people should do more to try to facilitate the first steps. Because again, if the first steps are complicated, normal people just say, you know what, I don't like it. And so you lose someone that can participate just because the design is not as easy as something made by Apple or made by this big company. So.
Yeah, as Diego said, imagine if a friend of you say, I want to start using Bitcoin, and I say, okay, you need to start throwing dices. What? What the fuck?
Are you kidding me? Yes.
Oh.
And on the other side, it's not comparable, but it's some kind of example. It's when Apple create the Apple Store and you download an app there, any app. At the beginning, maybe you go to a process where you actually have to do a registration process and input your email, input your phone, input your name. So all of this is friction. Eventually, they realize they don't need all that. They can do it through the back end. You just download the app, wait until download, click open, and it's open, and you can use it. Literally in 2 clicks without external data. So that's a good example of how the apps in the App Store become so popular eventually in the last decade. So something like that has to happen for Bitcoin adoption to be extended into the normies world, which is essential, because most Bitcoiners will say, well, fuck the normies, we're going to be doing this, and the rest of the world, we don't care. But actually, for Bitcoin to win, we will need that Bitcoin is working maybe in the back end as any other successful fintech app like WeChat, like Stripe, like any other app that you can figure it out. Even Solana are doing apps that are way easy to use. Obviously, they don't have the security of Bitcoin. Obviously, they will have some other bugs.
They're shitcoin.
But you can orange pill people that way, and then let them decide if they want to go into the rabbit hole of going into the hardware wallet, or going even deeper and throw dice to create a wallet, or go even deeper and become developers with the cover face that go into the conference and charge you money for helping you how to use. So there is a whole rabbit hole that you can use, but adoption means you have to make it easy at the beginning. At the beginning of the funnel, you have to be as simple as one click.
That's the point. Yeah, and on the other side, again, this week we saw other players falling against AI after all the FUD that had been created with Quantum. Now we saw that AI destroyed Coldcard, destroyed BTC Pay Server, destroyed LN P2P bot, an app from Latin America, and I don't know. Samsung Mao? Ah, yeah, Aqua.
So Aqua had some connection with Bolts. That was another lightning play. I mean, I think all of them are not as severe as the case of Coldcard, we should say, but still they found some vulnerabilities. And but again, if they can find vulnerability on this side, probably all the data in our government, the data inside the bank that has a password, capital letter 1, 2, 3, exclamation point are already being exploited, but nobody's telling us. But yeah.
Do you think this was the end of it, or is the beginning of a much deeper cyber attack that we're gonna see extended not only onto Bitcoin or crypto as it is now, but into some other areas of the market? Because what I say is we are seeing these attacks on crypto now because it's the easiest way to monetize your attack if you're a hacker. Yeah, you have immediately access to the funds. Different is the story if I'm a hacker and I will exploit the database of a big company. Now I got your database, but I have to sell it to someone to monetize it, or I have to do an extra step to actually get money out of it. But in the case of hacking a Bitcoin wallet or any shitcoin wallet, it's immediate reward because now you get actual money. So it's immediate monetization. So that's why we are seeing this right now. But I'm guessing this is just the beginning, and the next step will be some of the things on the internet. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, what I saw from the Bitcoin ecosystem, I think, despite the dramatic situation of the Coldcard with people losing, I think, around $100 million with all the attackers, is the response of a few very, well-oriented individuals that very, very, very soon that decided to try to put money together, try to put the technology behind. So this open source LLM, Kimi K, and other, put energy of brains of people behind it and try to find vulnerability, and then contact the direct people to give to them those vulnerabilities and try to fix them before malicious attacker might do the same. So I think the response was very solid. I really appreciate what Rob Hamilton and other people on X are trying to do with the Bitcoin Red Team. But again, I think it's only the beginning of something much bigger, because once you have this very strong model that grow in weeks, increase the capability by a factor of 2, it's very unpredictable where it can go. So I think Bitcoin, the security of Bitcoin, if done properly, we are safe. But all the surroundings, all the other L2 layer or other companies building on top, and with the code made by humans, those people, we can find more vulnerabilities and more attacks. So and it can also spread beyond Bitcoin and crypto. That's my fear, because the power of this model are incredibly high.
It will. I think it will. I will. But again, everyone was talking about the quantum FAT, the quantum proof, and we repeated only 10% of probability to get a problem in 10 years. Don't focus on that. Focus on other things.
Yeah, there was 100% probability that something with AI will be way more dangerous this year than something with quantum FAT in 20 years. So I think next year we're going to laugh about the quantum FAT situation, because it's going to be so many more exploits with AI that it's going to keep the quantum thing so little that people are going to be laughing that at some point in time, Bitcoiners actually took that seriously.
Exactly. So, guys, anything else to discuss?
I think it's summer in Bitcoin bear market, so I think it's good that we're still here. It's good that we still try to have content every week. But yeah, I think as you said, Fernando, once the price will recover and go into breaking some moving average, try to go on the weekly and the monthly in a better position, I think people will come back, interest will come back, all the internal fights will disappear. Saylor won't be the enemies anymore, will be just another big guy, but nothing more. And I think Bitcoin will do again, surprise everybody to the upside as it did many times in the past. So time is the only component that we cannot control, but is the most important in Bitcoin. So.
Excellent. So Marco, for all our audience, what is your social media?
Yeah, on X at Batistoshi93. So feel free to DM me and join what I write sometimes in. I'm not very active anymore because again, X sometimes can be toxic, but yeah, we will be all together there. So
super toxic. Yeah, go guys and follow. If you don't follow Marco, you are a shitcoiner. So Marco, see you next week, and let's see what happens. I think, as you said, it's summer, bear market, everything is quiet, but when Bitcoin will start waking up, all the people will come back. Thank you very much for being here, Marco.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you to everyone who is on the other side. If you like the episode, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media, follow Marco on social media, because doing so, you help us a lot to paint the world orange. See you in the next episode. Stay humble, stack sats, and remember, we are all Satoshi. Bye-bye, Marco.
Bye, guys.
Bye.